So, hello everyone, I'm Will and I'm here to talk about paint. Now, everyone knows what paint is. It's that thing that can change walls from this white colour into, let's say, yellow. Works every time. Give me a minute. Sorry about that everyone. So, now let's get down to business. There are three main components of paint. Number one, the pigment. Now, these are small, solid particles which give the paint its colour. Number two, a binding medium. This keeps the particles together and acts like a fluid. And number three, the solvent, which allows the paint to flow nicely and keeps it thin. I bet none of you knew that paint is a colloid. What's a colloid? Well, it's a mixture between solid particles and a liquid, the liquid being the binding medium and the solid particles being the pigment. But it doesn't act like a normal mixture. You see, because there's so many of these small, tiny, solid particles of pigment, it acts as if it's a solution. But we know that's not true, because if you were to zoom in using an incredibly high-powered microscope, you would see these tiny little particles of solid pigment, and then you'd see the binding medium. And that's basically what a colloid is. It's a mixture that acts like a solution because the particles, there are so many of them and they're so small that it might as well be. So next thing you need to know about are phosphorescent paints. Now, these are often known as glow-in-the-dark paints because they emit light in the dark. They do this because during the day or whenever there's a light source around them, they will absorb and store that light energy, and then when there's a lack of light energy, they will actually emit it, which gives the effect of it glowing in the dark. These are often used on watch faces so that you can see the time when it's dark. A fun fact is that they used to use radioactive paints to make watch faces glow in the dark, but obviously nobody wants to be wearing some uranium strapped to your wrist, so they changed it, and phosphorescent paints are much safer. Another thing you'll need to know about are thermochromic paints, and as the name suggests, thermo meaning heat and chromic meaning colour. They change colour with different heats. So, for example, it could be a more reddy colour the hotter it gets, and then turn to a cool shade of blue as it gets colder. These are often used on boilers or on kettles to indicate when things get hot. So to finish off, let's talk about how paint dries. Now, most paints are water-based, which means that the solvent used to keep them running is water. And these dry by the solvent evaporating and leaving less space between pigments, which then causes them to fuse and create a thin, hard film of pigment. So what about with oil paints? Well, oil paints use hydrocarbon oil as the binding medium. So when the solvent starts to evaporate, it exposes the hydrocarbon to air and it starts to oxidize. Now, this creates a thin film of hard pigment. As with the water-based paint, only this paint, it's not just pigment, it's also the hydrocarbon that is found in the film. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you didn't get too bored. See you next time.